Another former Knick has spoken out about the New York Knicks as fans are now calling for another reunion with a former elite shooter who is fully broken out. And this is the biggest heist of all time, watching the New York Knicks attempt to pull this off, using some key players in order to do it as well. And we're going to break all of this down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. And guys, if you're enjoying the content and are part of that 66% that's not subscribed to Knicks Digest, make sure to subscribe. We're having a bunch of fun here. We're making a ton of different videos. If you want updates on injuries, all new reports, a bunch of fun stuff you guys don't want to miss out. But let's jump into the video. We have a lot to discuss. The New York Knicks, well... They've made a bunch of trades over these last couple of years, ever since Leon Rose took over, and a lot of guys who are fan favorites have been sent away in trades, some of them including RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, Donte DiVincenzo, and now another one. Another one has spoken out on the New York Knicks and about his time there and how much he enjoyed it and enjoyed playing for head coach Tom Thibodeau when there was not a lot of people there believing that was the case. And obviously, you guys saw the thumbnail. I'm obviously talking about Quentin Grimes right here as my phone just falls and I freak out. But I'm talking about Quentin Grimes because Grimes, well, he joined the New York Knicks as a draft pick, and a lot of fans really liked the pick. He was athletic, he could dribble, he could score really well, excellent spot-up shooter, and phenomenal perimeter defender. He ended up being one of the starting players when the Knicks made it back to the playoffs with Jalen Brunson, and looked like a perfect running mate for Jalen Brunson for the next 5 to 8 years, but things kind of fell apart. It felt like Grimes lost his confidence in New York, and he did struggle a lot with all the pressure on him to be this guy, and well, things kind of went poorly, and he ended up getting benched by head coach Tom Thibodeau, who decided to move forwards with Donte DiVincenzo as the Knicks starting shooting guard, a move that proved to be very successful for the New York Knicks as they got much better in the process, and also Devo had the best season of his NBA career. Now, I know I just did the video on Donte DiVincenzo and fans calling for him, so I figured I'd do one more on this, and then we'll get back to the regularly scheduled programming, because, well, looking at this, there is sort of a pathway to see how Grimes could get back to the New York Knicks, and there's a lot to go over with this, and frankly, it's just fun to talk about this as fans do want this to happen, and we are going to jump right in and discuss this. But real quick, guys, I'm super excited to announce that we are kicking off a March Madness bracket for the channel. We've partnered with the Hot Takes app and other digest channels for this event. It's completely free to sign up. Just download the Hot Takes app, click the March Madness banner at the top, and then under groups, select the Digest Media Pool. This is really exciting as there's over $25,000 in prizes to be won, and since there's a much smaller pool of people participating, there's a real chance in winning big compared to other bracket challenges out there. Check out the link down below or scan the QR code to download the app, and make sure to use the promo code DIGEST in all caps to get exclusive perks when signing in. Again, it's completely free to sign up, and if you have any trouble, feel free to email us at the email down below, and we look forward to seeing you in the March Madness pool. We still have some time to still join that March Madness bracket, so guys, make sure to join, but let's jump into this and discuss everything, including what Grimes said about the whole situation. Now, Quentin Grimes was asked about Tom Thibodeau recently and said, trust me, nobody's complaining when you're playing 38, 40 minutes of a game, especially when I was. It definitely takes a toll on you, but you're not complaining because you know that he trusts you to go out there and play those minutes. So it's definitely kind of a thing, a respect factor, that he trusts you to go out there and try to get the job done no matter how long you're out there playing. So Grimes, seemingly less of a problem with Tom Thibodeau than what a bunch of fans initially thought. And Grimes, he did have a lot of success with the New York Knicks. It's undebatable. The man played well with the Knicks. I mean, in the 2022-23 season, when he became the starting shooting guard for the Knicks, he averaged 11 points per game, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists, playing 71 games, shooting 38.6% from three-point range, and shooting 48% from the field. He played really, really, really good basketball. His true shooting was a 61.9. He was balling out, and you got to love the way that Quentin Grimes did perform for the New York Knicks, and it definitely had a lot of us thinking his future was with the Knicks, but then he started to fall out of favor for Donte DiVincenzo, who, in fairness, was playing better, and it kind of led to the Knicks losing Grimes as he ended up being involved in a trade, and since a bunch of trades have happened, he's now found his way in the 76ers, his 4th team since last season. Guys, remember, last season, Quentin Grimes was on the Knicks. I know it feels longer, but it was just last year that Grimes was a New York Knick. Literally last year, too. 2024, Quentin Grimes was on the Knicks. And since then, he's been on 3 different teams since then, being on the Pistons, then getting traded for Tim Hardaway Jr. to the Dallas Mavericks, and the Dallas Mavericks trading him to the Philadelphia 76ers in a package that was around Caleb Martin, which was obviously a massive failure for the Dallas Mavericks, but it's the Mavericks and all they do is screw up, so we shouldn't be too surprised. Well, Grimes, he got traded in a package where the Knicks got Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks in exchange for Grimes, Malachi Flynn, Evan Fournier, and Ryan Arcidiacono. The only guy still involved in this trade on the New York Knicks side of things is Quentin Grimes. Malachi Flynn's kind of out of the NBA, Evan Fournier's fully out of the NBA, and Ryan Arcidiacono is in the G League. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Alec Burks was a free agent, complete rental by the Knicks because they knew Burks could perform under the bright lights and they needed more shot creation. So they got Alec Burks there on the bench. He played really well in the playoffs for the Knicks. And then Bojan Bogdanovic, who was very successful for the New York Knicks until he went down with multiple injuries, had multiple surgeries, and is missing this entire year. He did not play a game this season, has been on the Brooklyn Nets, will hit free agency, and will most likely get signed by a team. I actually want the New York Knicks to take a look at signing Bojan Bogdanovic for depth points, but we can go into that at a later date once free agency starts to come around. We don't need to talk about a bunch of these reunion videos. I'm not trying to make this a pattern. It's just two have come up at similar times, so that's why we're making them. I know I'm gonna get hate comments. That's why I keep having to bring this up. I know someone's gonna get mad at me for doing this and be like, hey, talk about what's currently going on with the Knicks. Look, 90% of the time I am, but sometimes this is what's going on with the Knicks. Fans are calling for Quentin Grimes to be re-signed by the New York Knicks, and there is a reason why that is. It's because the 76ers are broke. They have so much money tied up in the wrong spots where it's going to be hard to re-sign Quentin Grimes. I mean, you look at the 76ers cap table. Going into next season, they're going to have $30 million between that second apron and them. And look, Grimes is going to get a nice little contract for himself. They have no cap space, so they'd have to work off the bird rights that they do have, which will cover the cap space issue, but they're going to go over the first apron. I mean, it's not just re-signing Grimes. They're going to have to sign other players as well. So they could be in danger of going to the second apron. They do want to move Paul George in the offseason, but something teams are going to ask for a way out of that, of just eating that Paul George contract. There's going to be teams that say, yeah, we'll take Paul George if we also take Quentin Grimes with it. Obviously, the 76ers should not accept that. And I will say, I do expect Grimes to stick around with the 76ers for a while. Him and Tyrese Maxey is a very exciting backcourt to build off of, and the 76ers should totally do the smart thing, but they rarely ever do, so it's hard to trust that the 76ers might not just screw this up anyway. Grimes will be a restricted free agent, and teams are going to come a-calling, and the New York Knicks, well, they don't have his bird rights anymore, so they could offer him a mid-level exception if they could find their way out of their own financial problems, because the Knicks are in it as well. They're only $11 million away from that second apron, and yes, they're going to find ways to clear money as time goes on, and we're going to see how they pull that off. They're going to need to use that mid-level exception that they have, so we'll see what they do there. They're going to go over that first apron, obviously, but we will see how the New York Knicks fare with all this. And frankly, when we all see that happen, it's becoming harder and harder to find a way for Quentin Grimes specifically to get back on the New York Knicks, because unlike Donte DiVincenzo, Grimes would probably have to come as a free agency signing when the Knicks are capped on money. Meanwhile, Donte DiVincenzo could be acquired in a trade, so Leon Rose would have a much easier time pulling that off, especially because Grimes had a bunch of low confidence moments with the Knicks. Meanwhile, he's high confidence where he's at right now. Why would he want to go back to the Knicks? Meanwhile, at the same time, Donte DiVincenzo, well, he wants to be a Knick. That's the thing. That's the difference of it all. But look, Grimes has been a solid player over his NBA career. There's no doubt about it. And I'm really happy for Quentin Grimes. This season, he's averaging 13.2 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, and 2.6 assists per game while shooting 40% from three and 48% from the field. He's been awesome, shooting 47% on corner threes. So, you know, the Knicks kind of lost the guy who's perfect for their team, and it is a real bummer to not have him anymore. Meanwhile, the guy who the Knicks effectively got back for Quentin Grimes and 5 first-round picks is Mikal Bridges, who is playing well in his own right as well. Absolutely playing well. Good fit with the team. 18 points per game, 3 rebounds, 3.5 assists, shooting 50% from the field, 35% from 3, and then 43% on the corner 3. I'm not trying to compare these two. I'm more just saying this is what was essentially traded for each other, as everything else is out of the NBA that's involved in this trade right now. Outside of Bogdanovic, who will come back, but he's just dealing with the injury stuff right now. And who knows, maybe the Knicks will sign Ryan Arcidiacono again. Never doubt it. But look, Quentin Grimes even said that he keeps tabs on Jalen Brunson to see how he's doing, along with Deuce McBride. And he said, but for the most part, that chapter has kind of closed on my journey so far. I definitely keep tabs on guys like Deuce McBride and Jalen Brunson. So the Knicks could try to use Deuce McBride and Jalen Brunson as recruiting pieces, but it does feel unlikely at this point that the Knicks will see Quentin Grimes suit back up as a New York Knick. But at the end of the day, I am really happy that Grimes is finding his way in the NBA. Even if it's with a rivalry team, I am happy for Grimes, and I hope the best for his entire career. So, is there a return incoming? Most likely not. Is there one coming with Donte DiVincenzo? I honestly kind of believe there is. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. I promise we're done with this type of video stuff. We'll get back to breaking down the everyday news. Just a lot has been coming out about these two guys recently, and I did want to get some videos out on it just to take the temperature of what the Knicks Digest family thinks about it. Have a great day, and go Knicks.